State Media presents.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I have very interesting guest from the United States, Tenney, and we'll have some conversation. It's not an interview as usual interview. I will speak to each other, try to understand what Mr. Tenney is in Armenia, how we can cooperate with each other, what common values we have, and hopefully maybe one day also meet in the United States. Welcome to Armenia. As far as I know, you already a month here and you with your family. Please tell about yourself, your family, and your plans being in Armenia.
Yeah. Well, I'm married, have 5 children. I'm a reverend, a minister, an evangelist, and I'm the president and founder of Alpha Pneuma Ministries. We are a ministry that not only ministers to widows and fatherless, but we preach the gospel of Jesus Christ all over the world, especially in Islamic nations such as Pakistan and Jordan and Nigeria, to name a few. We have a huge heart for Armenia. This came from an experience I had when I was in construction, where the Surpoki visited me in my room, in my living room, and I heard the Holy Spirit speak to me and tell me to sell my possessions, to take my savings, and give it to Armenian widows and fatherless. Now, this word didn't make sense.
It was mentioned to Armenian widows?
Armenian widows and fatherless. And my thought at the time, Ara, was Armenian was a type of Indian, Native American, because we have many nations. As you were an ambassador to Canada, you understand they have nations, right? Like First Nation and different nations. Same thing in America, maybe like 20, 30 plus Native American nations. So maybe this is a nation that God is talking to me. I'm going to go work in a reservation, maybe.
You didn't know anything at that time about Armenia?
Nothing.
Okay.
And my wife didn't know either. And my friends didn't know, and my family didn't know, and my wife's parents didn't know anything about Armenia. So for everybody, it was very much a shock. In fact, my father-in-law kept asking me, what is the name of the country again? Where is it located? How come I've never heard of it?
Yeah, and you are originally from what part of the United States?
From Iowa.
Iowa, yeah. Because a century ago, Armenia was known for Americans more or less, because Armenians, especially Near East Relief,
the Near East Relief Fund,
money supporting Armenians orphans,
yes,
and widows.
But this is now more than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
This is going back from 1915, even before. They were doing work even before this, after the Hamidian massacres.
Yeah.
And so they
Ara Papian, the head of Red Cross
of course,
the United States, she was doing it.
And in fact, at one point, I know this now because I've studied the Armenian history to a great extent, and also the history of the Near East Relief Fund. But every Christian denomination got on board with the Near East Relief Fund, and they all condemned the genocide, and they all helped to sponsor Armenian widows and fatherless. But I was never made aware of this, because this whole thing happened over 100 years ago.
You mentioned about Christian denominations a century ago. Can you describe the situation now, the current situation of Christian denominations, generally about the faith in the United States? Because when people in Armenia speak about United States, they know New York and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say them that these are not America.
Yeah,
these are separate countries or cities. Is totally different. The America, to meet Americans, you have to go, let's say, deep into country to meet people.
It's same with Armenia. I can't say that Yerevan is really Armenia. No. In my estimation, Lori, Dilijan, Tavush, Goris, Tatev, these are all more Armenia to me than Yerevan.
Yeah, you are right. I always mention that to keep our traditions, actually, to the Armenian feeling, usually the people who work just on the ground in the villages, the harvesting and so, where you can find the real spirit of people. Because we all living in big cities, we are influenced of this propaganda, also this information. They are, if you can say in a way, pure Armenians, not pure. It's very interesting because you, as a foreigner, maybe can feel the difference. And as you told, you have been in many parts of Armenia.
Yes, I've been to every part
Every
except for Western Armenia. They call Turkey.
Okay, hopefully one day we'll go there as well.
My plan is to go to Ani. To go there. It's a dream.
Yeah, it's dream of all us. Unfortunately, now we have another dream that we could easily go to Karabakh, Artsakh. Now it's also becoming a dream like as Ani visiting there. Nobody can go easily. You as American can go there, but you have to go through Baku. And if they know, and I'm sure they will know that you were in Armenia, you have contacts, they will create a lot of problems.
Yeah, I have to go with a separate passport. In America, you can have two passports. You can have passports to go into regions that other regions would not allow you to enter into because of your associations with other nations. So that's why we have two passports.
Yeah.
But if they find out, yes, I'm probably if I'm not blacklisted already from Azerbaijan, then I will be.
You see, they were, I don't know for now what is their policy, but previously they were blacklisting everyone with some contacts with Armenians and some Armenian family names and some stupid stories. Let's say I knew a person whose name was Maximilian, and they confused Maximilian as a surname, family name, because Armenian families have this ending IAN or YAN, and Maximilian, they thought that this is an Armenian. They didn't allow him to enter. Another time, they refused the entry to a woman who previously was married to an Armenian and took the family name of her husband, which was Armenian one. And later she was refused, even she was purely Russian, except the name. These have this some kind of hatred. There is unfortunately there even Nikol Pashinyan and his government trying the policy of satisfying Turks, giving everything that can, thinking that this will improve the relations and some kind of peace treaty will be signed. Unfortunately, I really do not believe that, because there is no intention or political will to do so.
Right.
But we'll see, because they speak openly that the goal is to destroy Armenia. Unfortunately, they already had destroyed some Armenian churches there.
In Artsakh.
Yeah, in Artsakh. Some churches from 19th century, for sure, I know they were destroyed.
Even older ones, for sure.
And some for older ones.
Yeah, and the crosses on the cathedral in Stepanakert, they took them off.
Yeah, the old crosses they took off, not only Stepan, always. They are converting now a church in Berdzor to mosque. I have seen the photo with these two minarets. They are converting into there. The church in Shushi, they're converting into Albanian church. Even the Albanian church didn't exist from 10th century, because the people were assimilated, some to Armenians, some to Turks, others, and some Lezgins, Udi people, the Afghan people are not the Afghan in Afghanistan, Afghan from Caucasus, Albanian people, Caucasian Albanian. They were Christians. They had their church, part of Armenian church. But since 10th century, everyone knows that no Albanian church exists. But now what they are doing, they're converting Armenian churches with the Armenian inscriptions and a lot of materials at the Armenian churches, saying that if they can convert into mosque, they are converting to mosque. If not, into Albanian church, saying that this Albanian church, and it belongs to us, because they have this false idea pushing forward that we Azeris were one time, many centuries, were Christians, and these churches belong to us, and then we were converted into Islam. It's clearly a false idea without any scientific basis for this.
Yeah.
But they have money, they have oil, they are doing this.
I can tell you a story if you like.
Yeah, please.
When I was in Istanbul, I went to Hagia Sophia.
Yeah.
When I was at the Hagia Sophia, it, of course, used to be the largest church in Christendom, and then it got converted into a mosque. It is now a mosque because of Tayyip Erdogan. Well, I thought I'd go and do something fun, but also something what I would consider prophetic. So this was a very important spiritual moment for me. I went into the Hagia Sophia. I was raised Greek Catholic, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I converted to Pentecostalism. So I'm a Pentecostal charismatic Christian. And I left, I should preface this. I left the Eastern Catholic Church because I feel this is a nationalistic church, an ethnocentric church, and I don't believe in an ethnocentric church at all.
But
So,
why
I'll
you
explain.
were?
I'll explain. But there's so much of the history that I love of the Greek Catholic Church and the Greek Orthodox Church and the Armenian Apostolic Church that I think is very vital and important to our Christian faith that needs to be preserved and celebrated. So when the Turks took over the Hagia Sophia and they turned it into a mosque, this was a terrible day for everybody in Christianity. It didn't matter whether you were Armenian or Greek or Pentecostal or Baptist, we all felt horrible. So I went there and I prayed and sung in Greek, the Greek chants that were sung in this church back when it was a church.
And what was the reaction?
Oh, I'll tell you. And then I said, no, I'm going to take it a step further. When I sung in Greek, as what I did first, the Muslims in the masjid, they looked at me and they were staring. When I started to sing in Armenian, they took it a step further and they kicked me out. Because I started to sing and I'm singing this, and they knew it was Armenian. They knew that I'm singing this Armenian song. And I'm asking, this song means Lord have mercy. So I'm crying in the Hagia Sophia. While the azan is going on, the imam, the sheikh, is going, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is what he's singing, and I'm going, and so the reaction was very strong, and they got very hostile towards me and picked me up, and they threw me out of the mosque. But it was our church. So for me, this moment is a revolutionary moment. It is me taking a stance against the false religion of Islam, but it's more than this. It is also saying one day this masjid will return to be a church again, our church, and Turkey will be a Christian nation again, and all the Armenian lands will be restored again, not just Nagorno-Karabakh, but Ani and elsewhere, and now Tavush region will be Armenian land again. And I believe this will happen because God is faithful.
We hope so, and not only hoping, because I was involved researching some documents, and one of the documents is Woodrow Wilson's Arbitral Award.
Yes.
It's a legal document, and it's in force, and this is the legal border, and this is some article. I will give you this book, and there are a lot of other maps there. We'll go through, and maybe one day we'll meet and discuss these issues also. It's interested me. You were raised as Greek Catholic in Iowa.
Yeah.
How it happened?
Well, my family converted to the church. My father was a Baptist before, and my mom's family was Roman Catholic. My mom converted first to the Baptist church, became kind of an evangelical Christian. Then my dad went to seminary to be a pastor and converted to the Eastern Catholic Church because he liked the liturgy, and he felt that the Eastern Catholic Church was closer to the original church. So I would say that the Armenian Apostolic Church, in my estimation, is closer even than the Greeks. The Greeks will not like to hear this, but don't tell
I'm
them.
not a specialist, but I think so as well, because keeping all this tradition, Ethiopian church, Armenian church,
Coptic church,
all these Eastern Christian churches trying to keep. And it's very interesting what you were telling, because one of the pillars of Russian propaganda, and you know, the propaganda aims making people think about United States, that there is no faith there, almost everyone is gay there, and
so far from true. I mean, I'm married with 5 children.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm
I
27 years old, Ara.
Yeah, okay. Now, I know, because I have been in the United States many times, and not only these big cities. I love to drive. You know, I spent some years in Canada, and especially in winter time, it is very harsh and boring in Canada. I was taking my family, especially during Christmas, just putting them in cars and driving up to Florida and other places, because to feel the country, you have to
drive.
To go, and sometimes we're taking not highways, especially taking these small roads that you can go through, small villages, towns, and so on. Yeah, and you know, it's no problem for us. Everywhere you can find somewhere a hotel or inn to find a place to spend a night, and they are not expensive actually. There some room for $45-50 in normal rooms. I do remember, but it was some 10-15 years ago. It was just at that time when my children were 10-12 years. Now they are much big older, but this idea to show them the country, not the big cities, because I took them also away in New York. I have a lot of friends over there, but you know, New York is a cosmopolitan city. The same with Los Angeles, because Armenians, when speak, you know, for Armenians, Los Angeles, Glendale, Burbank, all these parts are America, but America just somewhere there in between. And I have to confess that my feeling is that even Armenian community did not establish close contacts with some organizations that we need, with these evangelical organizations, communities. It's very important. Unfortunately, Armenians were mainly focused on Armenian communities.
Yeah.
The same with Armenian church, focus on Armenians. But why not to have Christian solidarity?
Well,
Because
we have to have that. So if you look at my profile picture, I'm meeting with all the patriarchs. Like I just met with Tuardros II, the patriarch of the Coptic Orthodox Church of Egypt, and I am hoping that Karakin will meet with me as well.
have you asked for a meeting?
No, yes, but I haven't received a response yet. So I'm hoping that they will respond. I love the Armenian Apostolic Church. I've studied all the Sharakans. I know the Batarag from heart. I'm singing all the songs. Surp, 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 Asvats, Haimer, Tevagornya. I know all of this. And maybe even one day I would be a Derhai. You know, this is how much I love the Apostolic Church. And I love the Armenian nation so much that we want to become citizens. And I love America, but I wouldn't die for America. I would die for Armenia. I would enlist. I would be part of the draft in Armenia. So if I was called to the front, I would shed my blood for Armenia because I care about this country. I care about its preservation.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it's very interesting. I hope that our diaspora, members of diaspora, some communities also can listen all these things and understand that it's not necessary to be an Armenian to love this country.
No.
Because when you feel you understand the country with big heritage, with big tragedy which goes on unfortunately for centuries, but anyway, it's very interesting. I mean,
we're used to it in America. We're used to people coming from Armenia and coming to America and being the strongest American patriots. We're used to Italians coming to America, British coming to America, Australians coming to America, and being the strongest, most patriotic, most nationalist individuals in our country. And that is normal, but I think the abnormal thing is to see Americans come to Armenia and feel this way and patriotism about Armenia.
Yeah.
And so my patriotism...
We haven't seen too much Americans coming to Armenia.
Yeah, my patriotism has led me to my knees.
Yeah.
And my patriotism causes me to pray for Armenia's leaders every day. Every day I am praying on my face, on my knees to God, asking God to give the Surpoki inspiration of the Holy Spirit to all of the leaders in all the highest offices of the land. Because no one can believe this. If you don't understand, this is a republic, and this democratic republic, you could call it, I think it's not
so
like
much
America.
democratic, but relatively democratic, let's say.
Okay, so it's not like America in that sense. But I will say this, that no prime minister, no president can lead a country well without the inspiration of God. It is not possible. If you're not seeking God, then the weight of responsibility will cause you to go into poor leadership. It'll crush you. You need God in your life. You need Jesus in your life. You need the Holy Spirit in your life. And I'm praying for a few things. I'm praying for Christian solidarity in Armenia because there's so much polarization here. Here I am as the most apostolic non-Armenian that you will ever meet in the world. This is for sure. But I'm an evangelical, technically. But I believe everything that the Apostolic Church believes. I believe in the Eucharist, the baptism, all these things. And yet, by some apostolic leaders, I'm treated with suspicion. Now, the evangelicals, on the other hand, they also treat me with suspicion because I'm going singing the Badarach and I'm meeting with the Derhais and even having my kids blessed by the Derhais. You don't need your children to be blessed by the Derhais. They're blessed by God. There's so much bitterness and poison and polarization which is hurting Armenia. When we see that, for example, how many Iranians are coming into Armenia, how many Indians are coming into Armenia, wouldn't it be great if we could be a better, stronger Christian witness, that we actually loved one another and we could use our witness to bring people to Christ?
You see, if we go back for a century ago, thousands of Americans used to live in Armenia or in the lands where Armenians were living. I mean, Ottoman Empire somewhere. Thousands. I mean, 3, 4, 5, up to 6,000. They opened Bible houses, hospitals, so many, and schools, colleges, and there are a lot of memories. And these orphanages also that were opened after genocide. Mainly, they were managed by some of these
Protestants, evangelical Christians,
and so on. You already mentioned Nearest Relief. It was some umbrella organizations where people and some other organizations put their soul, money, time supporting Armenia. And at least I know 4 American names that died here in Armenia during that period, taking care of orphans, because there was a typhus, there were so many illness at that time.
Big orphanage in Gyumri, right?
It's the biggest orphanage. I mean, it's an orphan city.
And is it still running?
No.
No.
It
But
belongs
at that time
to
it was.
Russian military base now.
Really?
Yeah, that building. But we'll see. We hope that with support of our people and with help of God, we'll solve all these problems. Armenia will become more independent, and we can have for our country better relations, a better future, and we're hoping to have better relations generally with West. Thank you for the conversation. This was our first conversation with Tenney, let's say an Armenian by his choice, but not by his birth. And hopefully we will have some other meetings speaking about his experiences in Armenia, his family experience, and I am sure that these contacts, these relations will open for Armenia new possibilities and new doors. Thank you.
May God lead us and protect us.
Thank you.
Բաժանորդագրվեք Դիր մեդիայի ալիքին։